What is going on, Warrior Soul Nation? It is Friday. I said Warrior Soul Nation. There's like 10 of you out there, but it's all good. Listen, today I'm going to talk to you about something that's serious. When life seems to be like it's crashing around you, when you feel like you're in a downward spiral, one of the worst things we do is absolutely nothing. We sit there and we watch as our life burns away in front of us. And a lot of it comes about because we're paralyzed. We're paralyzed into inaction, where we're down on ourselves and we don't have the self-confidence that we need to take the action that we need to fix the situation. So that's what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to talk to you about a very, very hard period of my past that has come up again and again. But first, before we get into this, I want to tell you to listen to the Warrior Soul podcast. The Warrior Soul podcast empowers U.S. military veterans and anybody else willing to listen to live their best lives. That means if you're not a veteran, anything we talk about will apply to you as well. So what do? We take on amazing guests like Robert Greene, Nick Koumalatsos. We've got Michael Reagan, the son of former President Ronald Reagan, coming on next week. I've just interviewed Bas Rutten, and that's going to be, Bas Rutten's one of the OG MMA fighters, one of the best strikers in the world, and he turned himself into one of the best grapplers in the world. He's going to be on in early November. I already done the interview, just got to publish it. So you're going to get amazing guests like that, but my goal is to use their stories, the information that they bring to the show, to empower you to live an absolutely amazing life. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, head over to www.warriorsoulagoge.com, listen to the episodes. I promise you, you'll get so much out of it. You can also listen to them here on YouTube, and you can listen to them anywhere that we publish podcasts. And if you like us, please write us a written rating and review up on iTunes. Now, back to the subject at hand. Going through difficult times in your life can feel like you're painting yourself into a corner, right? Everything seems to be crashing around you. Your financial world, right? Those who you relied upon and depended upon, they start to turn their backs on you, right? You start to literally turn your back on yourself. Your self-confidence goes down. You don't feel like you're as capable as you once were. And then you get into a situation where you're basically paralyzed. You end up not knowing what to do. And because you don't know what to do, you don't do anything. You literally sit there and you let all these things happen. Your debt racks up, your health goes down, your fitness goes down. And it might not be that bad of a situation. Maybe you're at the beginning of a situation like this. Maybe you've been through something like this. And if you have, let me hear about it. But I'm going to tell you a little story about my life. It all started, about 7-8 years ago. Actually, it started probably around 2011. I left my PhD program that I was in. I was studying for my doctorate in political science to open up a gym called Metroflex Gym Long Beach. And it was myself and my business partner, who I'm still friends with. He's an amazing guy. But we started this gym with the idea that it would be a success, right? And the thing about business is this: whatever business you get yourself into, it's going to take a lot more money, it's going to take a lot longer, and it's going to be a lot more difficult than you had originally planned for. I'll just say that right off the bat. And starting a gym in Southern California is no easy feat. We had our gym in Long Beach, California. It's still there. And essentially what I did was I canceled the rest of my life, right? So I canceled that PhD program. I'd been personal training on the side. I dedicated myself to getting this gym off the ground, right? So that's what we did. We went to get the permits, we went and got the real estate, we went and had to get past the city codes that said, hey, you can't put a gym here. We got all that approved. That process took a year, and it took about $20,000 worth of capital, right? And then from there, we had to rent the equipment. We had to get the facility in order. We had to make it ADA compliant. That took even more money, right? And so by the time we started, I think we were somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000 in the hole, right? which for 2 kids at the time, I wasn't doing amazing things beforehand. I didn't have millions of dollars in the bank. I'd been in the Marine Corps and I was a student, right? Those 2 things. So I literally just had money saved up in my thrift savings plan. Went and put it into this, and we thought, okay, we're going to open this thing up. It's going to start making money. Well, no. Guess what happens? The gym was a hardcore gym, and at the time, hardcore gyms weren't as popular as they are now. Right now you've got EOS Fitness, you've got a lot of these gyms that have CrossFit areas, you've got CrossFit gyms, strongman gyms, all these different hardcore gyms are popping up everywhere. They're doing awesome, but at the time, nobody quite understood what we were doing. Like, people would walk in and they'd be like, oh, where's the cardio equipment? And where is the swimming pool? Where's all this stuff, right? And we're like, this isn't what this gym is about. So for a while, there were crickets, right? We had some people who had a lot of interest, power lifters, hardcore bodybuilders, strength athletes, CrossFitters, but it was a really hard sell in the area at the time. And what happened was we had to slowly build our name up. But to make a long story short, for 3 years, I would work, 12 to 16 hours in that gym, and, killing myself, and I was making $500 a month, right? And slowly, my confidence and the way I saw myself and my ability to take care of situations, well, that eroded away. And I got to a point where I felt like I couldn't do anything. I was trying to train people. I was taking on clients and stuff like that at the time. But, I was doing that on top of all the management of the gym, on top of cleaning everything, on top of trying to do accounting, trying to learn all this stuff, and literally wore myself down. And all the money I was earning from training was going back into the gym. So essentially what happened was I got to a point where that obviously was no longer sustainable, right? I had to do something, and ended up having to sacrifice my shares of the gym so I could then become a full-time trainer. But the damage had already been done. I was in so much debt. My car was about to be taken away. I was going through a divorce and literally lost everything. I didn't have an apartment anymore. I was living out of my car. And I remember sitting there, I went down to the beach to think about things, and I was looking out of the ocean, and I was like, man, this literally can't get any worse. I'm in like one of the worst positions I had. Plus I was going through an ulcerative colitis flare-up at the time. And so my health was really bad. And I said, man, this literally can't get any worse. But then another voice popped up in my head, and it said, well, wait a minute, you've got nothing to lose. Like, you've already lost everything. You don't have any material possessions, right? All I had at that point was a car, which people were trying to take away from me anyway. So that's why I was moving around in the car, trying to keep the repo men from finding me. And then I had my dog Piper, and I had a few garbage bags full of clothes in the back. And so I said, well, you know what? At least I could try to do something. I shouldn't just sit here staring at the ocean, going out like a wimp, going out passively, going out like a lamb. I'm going to fight, and I'm going to actually do something. So that's when I started this YouTube channel, right? And it started out as the Getting Shredded channel. And that's when I started talking about fitness and really putting myself out there. That's when I started doing that, that's when people started contacting me about online training and things like that. And that's when I found a new passion, not just for opening up a gym facility and trying to make myself live this like glamorous fitness lifestyle, but I found a real passion for helping other people, right? Because people were contacting me with real problems with their health, real problems with their self-image. And through that, through helping other people, I found a better position in life. My confidence rose. And, within 6 months, I went from living out of my car and having absolutely nothing to then having enough money to rent a room, right? It wasn't like an overnight rags to riches story, right? It took time. I had, luckily, some people in my life, Liz Friel, Thad Coleman, who allowed me to live with them for a little bit and helped me to get back on my feet. And then I had this amazing woman who allowed me to rent a room in her house. And her name's Lucky. She's a great girl. And she let me rent a room in her house to get myself back on my feet. And that's how it started. And I decided, if these people are going to put some faith into me, both my clients and the people who were helping me at the time, then I'm going to have some faith in myself. And I'm going to actually do things to push myself forward. And that's where I really started promoting, really started doing, and then slowly got back on my financial feet. Obviously went through bankruptcy, went through all that, but I had enough money to live, enough money to pay the new bills that I had after bankruptcy, and I allowed myself to take better charge of my life, right? Become more responsible, right? Become the person who actually tries to get things done rather than sitting around waiting for other people to do things for me. And with that, once I got myself back on my feet and I was able to move out of that rented room and then finally get myself into an apartment, what I then said, well, wow, I'm like the luckiest guy in the world. Because once you live in a car for a little bit and you're cruising on people's couches, when you have your own place, that's like a palace. You feel such an immense sense of gratitude for that. And I said, well, how else can I help other people? And obviously, I was a Marine Corps veteran. I have a deep sense of responsibility to the U.S. military veteran community. And I noticed what was going on at the time. And that's when I decided to create Warrior Soul, to create the Warrior Soul podcast, and do everything I could to push forward. And along the way, at every step, there were new challenges, right? I'm still facing a lot of challenges today. I'm not rolling in riches or anything like that. But what I've come to understand is that at every point, there's things you're going to have to learn. And if at any point you take a look at your problems and you say, all right, I'm not going to deal with this, or if you wait for somebody else to deal with it for you, or if you say, you know what, this isn't going to apply to me, then that's when it starts, right? So what's the takeaway from this? And this is a longer video than I wanted to do, just because I wanted to get that story out there. The takeaway is this: if something's wrong in your life, you've got to fix it, right? You've got to fix it. You can't wait for somebody else to do it. You can't wait for some angel to come down from heaven to say, all right, do it now. If you feel like you're lost and you don't have a purpose, guess whose job it is to get you that purpose? It's you, right? Your job is to find meaning and to bring meaning to your life. It's not society's job. It's not the government's job. It's not anybody else's job but yours. It's your job to figure out what's going to make you happy. It's not your wife's job. It's not your husband's job. It's not your kid's job. It's not anybody in your life's job to make you happy. You have to do the things that are going to make you happy. Now, I hear you. You're saying, all right, well, I got this job that I hate, or I got this situation that I hate, or I'm in a really bad financial state. And the thing is, it goes back to this. It's not what happens to you that matters. What matters is how you allow it to affect you. So if you allow it to put you in a position where you're constantly unhappy, where you don't want to do anything to help yourself, where you are constantly going through the negative self-talk and things like that, that puts you in a place where you feel like you can't catch a break or anything, then your life's going to continue to go downhill. There's a lot of things you can do, right? You can meditate, right? You can read. You can learn about the lives of other people who've done amazing things and see what they've actually gone through. You can, anybody right now can broadcast themselves, right? And I'm a perfect example of somebody who, well, hey, I never needed 1 million followers. I never needed to get 1 million views per video. I kept doing it no matter what. And I kept doing it because I knew the people who were listening were getting help out of it. And from that, I gained clients. I was able to support myself. So if you think you can't do it, then you're wrong, because you can. There's always something you can do. All right. Don't feel trapped. Don't feel like the world's against you, because it's not. Right. The world's just here to be the world. And it's tested living things since the dawn of time, and you're no different. So that's what I got for today, guys. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that what I'm providing here on YouTube is helping those of you who are actually listening. I know that I'm not super subscribed or anything like that, but I don't care. If I'm helping some of you, then that makes me happy. And for those who are listening to the podcast, I appreciate you. I know that my listeners are getting so much out of it. And then beyond that, if you want to join a new group that I put together for Warrior Soul, it's called the Warriors Obituary Society, where our members empower each other to live their absolute best lives, lives worthy of epic obituaries. Then head over to www.warriorobituarysociety.com, and I outline everything that you get with the group: the live calls, weekly live calls, the private chat forum, the being able to construct your own personalized fitness plan, being able to create your own personalized finance plan. It's a great opportunity to motivate yourself to get back on your feet. And I'm also taking on clients, so if you're interested in working with me directly, please let me know. So talk to you guys soon.